So we will start. Okay. So today's session is about stress, reacting or responding. So this our lives are getting dominated by this word stress, especially now during the pandemic. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes,
So
yes,
you
certainly.
have Hans Seil, who is a pioneer in stress research, and he speaks about stress as eustress, stress, and distress. So there are moments in our life when even pleasant things are happening, nice things are happening to us. We are doing creative work, or we are enjoying what we are doing, and that is a eustress. Okay? Stress is normal. Okay, I am having today's presentation, so I must be prepared for it. So unless I get down to work, I won't be prepared for it. That is a normal stress. And distress is the stress that we normally refer to as stress when we are disturbed, when we are not able to handle the things. So actually what we are normally talking about stress is the distress part. Okay, but universally it's referred to as stress. Okay? Now Hans Seil is as I said, he is a pioneer in stress research, and he has said the chemical reaction of the body is same in all three. So the body releases chemicals which are required by the body at that time. So sometimes we may tend to give certain chemicals or certain hormones a bad name, but the chemicals are there for a reason. We may or may not use those hormones for what they are secreted into our body, and they may accumulate, and that is what causes the damage. But the hormones themselves are not that. Okay, we will look at that also. There is
What is
information.
eustress?
Eustress is when you are doing something creative,
You are stressed.
pleasant situation. It's eustress.
Um,
Okay, a marriage. Okay, a birthday party. There is stress. Some amount of stress is there. No? It's eustress, but it's good stress.
yeah, happy
And
stress.
yeah, and the stress itself is something that has to be motivating you, and you're doing everyday things because there is some stress there that you have to do it. And distress is the one which we are always concerned about, and is referred to as stress, and universally it is referred to as stress. So now also in this session I'm going to refer to it as stress. But what I mean by distress is
Excuse me,
when
ma'am.
we are unable to deal with the stress.
Excuse me,
You know?
ma'am.
Yes, dear.
Uh, what you mean to say is there is positive stress, something like that?
It's
Stress.
like when you are preparing for a very big party or a celebration for yourself or your child's success or something, and you are stressing about how it will happen and what everything. But in the end, it's something related to gaining more happy memories. Na? So it is
Like for marriage, for
stress.
instance, no, even in
Yeah,
marriage, no,
for
there is a
wedding.
you're preparing for there is some amount of stress is there in preparing and then
Yeah.
going through all the
Lot of stress,
rituals.
not some amount.
So yeah, but that is your stress because it's something nice that's happening, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is what he refers to as eustress. Yeah.
Okay.
So distress is what we cannot deal with. Look at this picture which I have put. I mean, he's so overwhelmed. When you feel overwhelmed, that is distress. You're feeling distressed. We say I'm stressed, but actually what you're feeling is distress. Okay. Now let us look at some of the definitions. I'm not going to be talking too much about stress management as such, but I'm going to be talking about more how mindfulness can be useful to us in stressful situations. Yeah. So here's Richard Lazarus is another pioneer researcher in stress, and he says that stress is a condition of feeling experienced when a person perceives that demands exceed the personal and social resources the individual is able to mobilize. Okay, and it is what we feel when we think that we have no control over the situation or the event. No, like many of us felt that during the pandemic. No, we felt that we have no control over this virus. So that was the kind of stress we all experienced at that time. Now, of course, definitely it is less, but it is not gone. Stress arises less from the actual event and more from our assessment of the event. Okay. So the event is there. So maybe good, bad, neutral, whatever. But the way we look at the event, what we make, the meaning we make of that event, or what we look at as consequences of that event is what actually causes us the stress. Okay. So there are types of stressors. So they have been categorized in three types. So one is catastrophe. So you have natural calamities, floods, earthquakes, hurricane, loss of property, maybe due to theft or fire or whatever, or you may be a victim of assault or an accident. Okay, so definitely this will cause stress. Then there are major life events like death of a loved one, divorce, moving house, shifting from one house to the other, graduation, from school or college, receiving a prestigious award, or becoming a parent and or becoming a parent. And then we have daily life hassles, commuting to work. Sometimes, the bus is late or the train is so crowded you could not get into the train, you know, dealing with a nosy neighbor, having a difficult boss, sometimes completing homework. And some of you may have also felt that now Leonie is saying, do the homework, do the homework. Okay. So these are the types of stressors. Okay. And normally stress is, made as differentiated as acute and chronic stress. So the catastrophes and major life events have more acute and immediate stress. So in acute stress, you have the flight and fight response. Okay. Whereas in ongoing daily hassles, it's compounded. Stress gets compounded. No, okay, today also the train was late, tomorrow also, day after also. So it's getting compounded, you know. So I'm not able to catch the previous train and I must not miss this train. So, or any other situation. So when it gets compounded, it results in chronic stress. That means stress that gets built up over a period of time becomes chronic stress. And it is the chronic stress which causes us stress related health problems. So as I said, acute stress prepares us for fight or flight and generally a short term, and it is short term. It gets, after some time it gets maintained and it gets managed. Whereas chronic stress is ongoing and then it finally you start having health problems, hypertension, diabetes, heart related issues. So these are the effects. So normally during stress there is anxiety. Okay. But let us look at, when there is normal anxiety, like I said, normal stress. A child has got the exams and he knows he has to study, so he will put in the efforts and he will study and he will go for the exam. But you may have another child who knows he has exams, but his anxiety levels are so high that he is not able to put that energy to use to study. And instead, he keeps on experiencing the anxiety rather than using the energy to study. So that is a problem anxiety. So that is something that the child may need to be helped with. Again, breathing is something which brings us, to present moment and the reality. The reality is I have to study. No, tomorrow I have an exam. So let me study instead of just being anxious. Like that. So, and we also, in stress, we also experience depression. Okay. So depression affects how we feel, think, and behave, and it interferes with our ability to function and carry on with daily life. First of all, let me tell you all that, today depression has become a catchword. Even you hear small children say, "Arey, my depression mein hu." They don't know what depression really is. Okay. So it's important for us to understand that when you're sad, sadness is there for more than 2 weeks, then it can turn to depression. Depression is not something that happens overnight. Okay, and depression is a secondary emotion. So when you're sad for more than 2 weeks and you're not able to deal with that sadness, it can turn to depression. And then it interferes how you feel, you think, you behave, and it interferes in your daily life, and your functioning is affected. Okay, that's when it becomes crucial. That's when you need help. That's when you need treatment. Okay, and it's a automatic negative thinking that adds to our depression. So the thoughts. So we will look at what are those automatic negative thoughts. And mindfulness can help us to reduce our automatic. Okay. So what are those depressive automatic thoughts? So I might feel like, I feel like I'm up and against the world. You know, things are not going well for me. So I think I'm up and against the world. Or I think no one understands me. Then something has happened which I've not been able to do properly. I start thinking of myself as worthless. Okay. Things in my life are not going well. So I say my life is a mess. Okay. My life is not going the way I want it to be. There must be something wrong with me. Or somehow I'm not able to get success. So I say, why can't I ever succeed? I am a loser. So these are some of the automatic thoughts. And in the notes, there are many more which you can look at and probably relate and identify with. So let us look at some of the positive automatic thoughts. So we not necessary that we have only negative automatic thoughts. We can also then replace these negative automatic thoughts with positive automatic thoughts. And what are these? I am proud of myself. So I know what I'm capable of. So I can say I'm proud of my capabilities. I'm proud of myself. I know that I am a caring, loving person. So say I'm warm and comfortable. Okay. My future looks bright. If I know that I can strive and I can do well in my work space, I can say my future looks bright. I have friends who support me. If I know that I have friends whom I can talk to when I am in difficulties or I'm disturbed, then I can say that I have friends who support me. I take good care of myself. I have a good sense of humor. I can accomplish anything. I enjoy a challenge. So these are some of the positive automatic thoughts. There are more in your notes. So
Hello,
look,
ma'am. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I had a question here. So it's been taught to us in uh, psychology or in REBT, CBT that there are automatic negative thoughts only.
so,
Automatic positive thoughts, we need to work on it and bring them up, right? So they can't be automatic. We have to work on it and make negative thoughts positive.
so
Right.
that's
I'm proud of myself doesn't come naturally.
so
First
we
come,
have to we have
hmm,
to then concentrate on what are the good things that I'm doing. And so with your client, what do you do when you help your client raise his or her self-esteem? What do? You
Yeah,
make them
isn't this
concentrate.
related to self-esteem?
Yeah. So
When
you
you say I'm not
ask them.
worth
So,
or you think
so you
negative about yourself, it's related to low confidence and your low self-esteem.
Yes. So what you do is
Also,
you
can
get
I
the
say some,
person. Can I
can I
come?
say something?
1 minute, please. Let me complete what I'm saying. Then you can add. So when you're telling your client to ask to enumerate what is good for what is good in him or her, then you're helping that person to know what he can be proud of, and then he can say, "I'm proud of myself." Yeah,
yeah, but
Chaitali.
that's the secondary thing. That's what I'm trying to say, ma'am.
Yeah, but now what
Yeah.
I am saying is we have to learn to make our positive thoughts also automatic. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Chaitali, what is it you
Yeah,
wanted
it
to
is
say?
my belief. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong. I believe it depends on our attitude. It is not that if we all have to work on positive automatic thoughts. Some people they have learned before itself while growing up or something. So it can be there in positive automatic. It's not that everyone has to work on automatic positive. That is I feel.
Correct, Chaitanya. You're right. So a lot depends on how we are brought up. So
Yes.
if I've grown up in a household where I got positive strokes, I was constantly told about my positive strengths, maybe negative also, but positive was also told, not only negative. Then I am used to talking about positive things also. So it's not that we don't have positive automatic thoughts. It's just that sometimes because of the pressure, we may push them in the background and we need to remind ourselves. Probably. But those who have grown up in households where there was more positive stroking, definitely it will be there. So let me go further. And now, if you have some questions, we will just take them at the end of the thing. So now from there, I'd like to move to perception. Okay. So again, you said, the way you look at it, Chetali, just now you
Yes.
said, na, the way we look at
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So every event has many interpretations. Okay. So when you change your narrative, you can change your life. So if I change the way I look at myself, that I have enough positive qualities in me to call myself worthy, know, to be proud of, then I will feel worthy. I'll feel the pleasant feelings that come with worthiness. But on the other hand, if I feel that no, there's just nothing positive in me and everything is negative, so then ultimately what happens is the feelings that follow will also be, you know, like I don't feel nice about myself, I feel I'm useless, I'm worthless, that kind of a thing. Okay. So there is a lot of power in perception. Okay, William Shakespeare in Hamlet has said, "There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." Yeah? So let us look at perception in action. So the reality of how we experience life. So there are many possible interpretations. Like just now only I mentioned about being worthy or unworthy. So corresponding, there will be emotions. Or if I think of myself as somebody who's caring and loving, no? So everything that follows will be, my actions will also be caring, loving. I will feel that care and love. Whereas if I don't see myself as caring and loving person, then my actions also don't follow, right? So my emotions, my experiences, my behavior will all follow from the thought. No, so we're saying the event can trigger a thought that makes me, probably feel sad, or it triggers a thought that makes me feel angry. Like I think it was Rashmi who spoke about the marriage in the family. Rashmi, no,
No,
Rashmi,
ma'am.
who
No, ma'am.
spoke about marriage in the family?
Today, me, Chetan.
Huh. No, marriage, preparing for the marriage, and
I
you,
guess Trupti. I guess.
I know.
no,
If I'm not wrong.
no.
To Swati Mishra.
Swati.
Right.
Where is Swati? She's not here. Yeah, she's there. So Swati spoke about how, when the relatives came, she wasn't looking upon them as, somebody whom she would like to uh, welcome, but she overrided that feeling, and she thought, she gave that space to think, no, they are our guest. They come to my mother's house as guest, and as a host, I need to welcome. So she did that. She did that. So when she changed her thinking, so her actions followed. Okay. So her feelings also changed, because then later on she got a response to those feelings. So you see how our perceptions can affect our actions. But we are saying that mindfulness can help us to make the changes. Mindfulness can give us the space. So let us look at how we reframe stress. The very way in which we look at stress. Kelly McGonigal is a psychologist who has said that our health endangering stress comes from the belief that stress is bad. So if we believe that any stress is bad, so we will kind of always be stuck in that belief, and therefore dealing with it also becomes difficult. Now here also, again, to take Swati's example, if she started feeling stressed because she did, she found difficult relatives coming in, and she stayed in that, if she stayed in that, her responses would have been what? She would have ignored those people. She might have countered their rudeness with rudeness. They were rude to her, she said, and she would have countered that rudeness with rudeness. But she didn't do that. She didn't do that. She changed that thinking of hers to say that no, they are my guests, they are my mother's guests, and I need to welcome them. And she did that. We also need to remember that the body's response to stress is protective and life-giving. So again, as I said, we tend to think of certain chemicals as bad. Cortisol, we say too much of cortisol. Cortisol is not bad. Cortisol is needed in our body. We need cortisol to wake up in the morning, and cortisol fluctuates throughout the day, so in the night it is very low, and that's what allows us to sleep. So some of us say, na, raat ko main to bahut disturbed sleep hota hai. And sometimes it's because our cortisol levels are high. And that cortisol is there for a reason. Something is bothering you. And therefore you need to deal with that. And therefore the cortisol is there. But we don't use that cortisol for that. Instead, we concentrate on the bad things, and the sleeplessness is there. Now let us also see, fear is a normal response to danger and needed to survive. We say, I want to overcome all my fears. Can we overcome all our fears? Fear is natural and normal. You need to fear fire. You need to fear the traffic when you're crossing a road. Otherwise, you won't survive. So it is needed for our survival. So that, but yes, irrational fears and phobias is something that we don't need. Normal fear we need. Anxiety also can be a useful tool for focusing when there is a deadline. So if I have a presentation to make, I have an exam, or I have some work to be done before something certain time, and I have to meet a deadline, then that kind of anxiety helps me, pushes me, gives me the energy to work for that. So it is useful. But when it persists beyond the immediate threat, then it becomes a problem. Suppose I'm paralyzed because of the anxiety. I'm not able to do what is required to be done. Then that is problematic. Okay? So we need to look at anxiety, stress, and all in ways which are more constructive. We have to learn to change the way we look at things, and that helps us to change the narrative. So mindfulness is what gives us the space to reframe. Here, when I'm saying reframe, is again, let me take Swati's experience. She reframed her thinking. She reframed her thinking, that changed her, the way she was feeling, and that changed her behavior. So it's mindful, with mindful awareness, you can notice automatic reactions before they take hold. So as they're taking hold of you, you become aware. Okay, now this is what is happening to me. This is what I'm about to do. And then I say, stop. No, let me stop. Let me think, and let me see what else I can do. What are the choices? So mindfulness creates that space between the events and your reaction. So I start breathing. Now that breathing gives me the space. Space is when I'm coming to the present moment. I'm coming face to face with what is the reality. I'm not going back to what are my beliefs about this. Okay, beliefs are from the past, what I have collected over the years. So I'm not going back to that. I am staying in the present moment. What are my thoughts? Okay, this is what I'm thinking. This is from where it is coming, And then I say, okay, now I have a choice. I can do this or I can do this. What do I want to choose? Okay. So it's important to choose an empowering narrative. So supposing your friend did not arrive at the theater, you were waiting and you had to see the movie alone. Okay. So you might get upset, you might get irritated, and you might be angry, and this will all come from your automatic thought that says, couldn't she have called me, or couldn't he have called me instead of making me wait for so long? His phone is also not reachable. How can he take me for granted? How can she take me for granted? So these are our automatic thoughts. But the empowering narrative, the empowering thought will be, I wonder what happened. Since you didn't call, maybe something urgent has come up. Maybe her battery is gone low, or maybe she's in a place where the phone, is not reachable. There is no. So I wonder what happens since she didn't call. It must be something urgent. I'll enjoy the movie and I'll call her later. So that can be the empowering narrative. Okay. So with dealing, when we are dealing with stress, when we are learning to manage stress, there are certain things that we need to be aware of, like acceptance. No? So what is acceptance? So let us just take these two things. No? So when it is raining, I may say, I don't like the rain. It has spoiled my day. I hate it when it rains and it's messy. You know, I remember as a child, I also didn't like when it is messy and I didn't like to go out. And I would ask my mom, why is it raining? She'll say, we need rain, we need water. The farmer needs to, sow his crop. We need water to drink. So I should say it should only rain in the fields and where the lakes are. You know? So the other this thing is when I'm accepting without judgment or anything, I will say it's raining, it's period. So it's raining, full stop. Okay. So yeah, maybe I don't like to go out in the mess, I'll stay at home. But saying that, oh, it's so gloomy, it's so this, so that, that becomes your own climate inside yourself. So acceptance is about that. So acceptance is acknowledging that emotions come and go. There is a need to respect the current emotions that you are feeling rather than simply fighting with them. It's not that, difficult emotions we should not feel. Difficult emotions, positive emotions, everything are part of our life. They will be there. They will come and they will go. Okay? So the more we allow ourselves to experience, last time we talked about emotions, right? I said acknowledge and experience and express becomes important. So acceptance is also the act of opening up to painful feelings and sensations that we might otherwise want to avoid and fight. So pain is a part of life. Sometimes we knock ourselves, we hurt ourselves. Leo was saying he fell down that day and he has some pain in his leg. Somebody else also had some other sharing about pain. Yeah, Naina was saying. So it's part of life. And sometimes painful feelings are also part of life. So accepting these feelings that we might really not want to accept, but accepting them is an important part of mindfulness, because it's not as if uh, just because you accept them they go away, but because you accept them you look at them more deeply. There is a contemplation that takes place. You think about things more deeply, about the situation in a more holistic way, and that can help you to deal with the situation better.
And but what if we uh, start looking for a reason to get rid of them, and then in that process, all those contemplation and thoughts they come. What happens? I'm talking about the acceptance of pain.
I didn't get your question, Naina. You'll have to repeat it.
Okay. Like आप कह रहे हैं कि acceptance of pain में आपने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया पेनफुल फीलिंग्स को या जो भी हो रहा है बॉडी में, तो फिर उसके बाद आप काउंटर एक्ट तो करेंगे ही ना उसको रिमूव करने के लिए, तो वो भी तो एक फाइट रहेगी ना.
So now we are saying with mindfulness, you will learn to deal with that slightly differently. As you normally जो हम लोग कर रहे हैं, that was automatic pilot. Now we are saying mindfulness is not automatic pilot. Mindfulness is dealing with it with in the here and now. So as the session goes on, you will learn. I will talk about how to deal with it. Yeah. So acceptance is observation of life and suspension of judgment about whether what is happening is good or bad, right or wrong. Okay. So if you see this, the water is flowing, you go with the flow. That is what acceptance is about. What is acceptance not? You know? So let us not confuse acceptance with resignation, tolerance, avoidance, giving up, putting on a brave front, overcoming, or a strategy to get rid of feeling. Naina, are you listening?
Yeah, ma'am, I'm
Yeah.
with you.
So this is what acceptance is not about. Okay?
Putting on a brave front मेरे को थोड़ा सा connect हो रहा है बहुत ज़्यादा.
So that's
Or
not
overcoming or a strategy to get rid of the
So
feelings.
somebody is saying आपको बहुत ज़्यादा pain हो रहा है ना, तो that person is trying to empathize with you and you say हाँ ठीक है ना. So you're trying to put on a brave front, but if you're really in pain, what is the harm in saying yes, it's painful? So that is not acceptance. Acceptance is when I say yeah, I'm in pain right now, full stop. Okay. Then with
I couldn't understand this part. What acceptance is not. I couldn't understand that.
resignation, when
Yeah.
you resign and you say, oh no, now I have got no choice but to be in
Accept the pain.
Yeah.
But it is not acceptance.
Not pain. It's not. I'm not here talking about only pain. I'm talking about any.
The situation.
Not just see. When we look at acceptance, see. Let us see. Acceptance can be about self-acceptance, acceptance of others, and acceptance of the situation. So here, when I'm talking about acceptance, I'm referring more to situation. Okay. You can also look at things in ourselves which we might find difficult to accept, or in somebody else. But here now I am referring more to situation. So tolerance. So tolerate a situation, that is not acceptance. When you're avoiding a situation, that is not acceptance. When you're giving up, that is not acceptance. When you're putting on a brave front, that is again not acceptance. Acceptance is also not about overcoming or getting rid of. Acceptance is when you say, this is what I am going through now, full stop. Okay. So let us also look at what else we need when we are dealing with stressful situations in our life. What can help us to be more respondent than reactive? So self-compassion is important. So self-compassion involves the capacity to comfort and soothe ourselves, to motivate ourselves with encouragement when we suffer, when we fail, when we feel inadequate. Self-compassion is learned in part by connecting with our innate compassion for others. And self-compassion also helps to grow and sustain our compassion for others. Okay. So if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. This is said by Jack Confield. He is also somebody who writes a lot about mindfulness. So,
Leonie, I had a question.
Yes, Vijay.
Yeah, so when we're talking about acceptance, acceptance is all about those situations or circumstances which are not in your control, right? So since you can't change it or you can't better it, you got to accept it. That's what you're saying, or is it, accepting the things the way they are, and from there, what you make of it? Like,
see, the thing is, some of you may be familiar with the AA philosophy, the Alcoholic Anonymous. They say that grant me the serenity to accept things the way they are, the courage to change what can be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. So there are certain things which are not in my control, which I cannot change. Can I control the spread of the virus? Yes, partly I can do it. I can see that I don't expose others if I am infected. or I can try not to get infected myself. But beyond that, can I do anything else? So I have to accept, no, that I have to wear the mask. I have to take all the precautions, washing my hands or whatever. So that is about, not saying, okay, ठीक है, now I am infected, so what the hell, yeah, let it be. I care a hoot if somebody else gets infected. So that caring also is important, and it's a part of acceptance. So we are also saying that there is then self-compassion, and we're also talking about kindness. Yeah. So earlier on, I spoken about how mindfulness is all about looking at the situation or accepting things with openness, curiosity, kindness. So very important, for us to remind ourselves that acts of kindness are known to release oxytocin in the body. All of you know what is oxytocin? Oxytocin is the hormone, feel good hormone. It's mainly, you will find that a woman who is breastfeeding has this release of oxytocin after a childbirth. Or supposing you hug somebody, okay, there's a release of oxytocin in you and in the other person. Why do we hug people when we go when there's a death and a person is in grief, and we hug that person, that helps. Why? It's because that enables the release of oxytocin in the body. So it's a feel good and healing hormone, and it is important, and it's responsible to reduce pain, physical pain, emotional pain also. Okay. It's beneficial both to the giver and the receiver. So even somebody who is observing an act of kindness experiences release of oxytocin. Kindness can bring joy to the self and receiver again. Be kind to yourself also. So sometimes, we are kind to others, but when it comes to ourselves, we are a little more harsh. So remind yourself that you have to be kind to yourself too. It includes love, tenderness, and kindness and compassion go hand in hand. Okay. So just quickly, I want you all to do this exercise. Just in your notebooks, just take two actions in the past week or in the past 10 days. Like supposing, for example, I forgot my friend's birthday. So any regrettable action that you have in your part. Okay. So, and then we tend to evaluate ourselves. So we tend to label ourselves, and say, I forgot my friend's birthday. What a lousy friend I am. I'm so careless. But if you change that to evaluation of the behavior, so forgetting the birthday was not very thoughtful of me. So here I'm evaluating not me as a person, but my behavior.
Yes.
So just take two such examples and just jot it down in your notebooks quickly. Just take 2-3 minutes for this. We have to move a little quickly. We are a little slow today. So because after there is going to be a meditation now, and after that I need to also do the certain things which are very, very important. So quickly take 2-3 minutes and complete this. So
Leonie,
yes.
Evaluation of the behavior. Just I'm giving my example. If I misbehave with someone, okay, evaluation of myself. What am I doing? Is it me? That is the evaluation of the self. And evaluation of the behavior. So it will be like I should not behave like that way. This is the way we should evaluate.
See, Chaitali, one thing I want to just suggest to you: try to avoid using "should" in your self-talk.
Okay.
So next time I could do this. Next time I could do it differently, and I could do it like this. If I say "should," it becomes judgmental again.
Okay.
Judgment.
So
So
evaluation itself is judgmenting, no?
no, evaluation is evaluation. Judgment is judgment. They are seem like similar, but they are not. Judgment is, again, last time I said, no, there is more critical aspect to judgment than evaluation.
Evaluation of my behavior, I could have I I'm going to behave in
So
a
when I'm evaluating myself, I might be a little more critical because I'm saying I'm lousy. Okay, but when I'm evaluating my behavior, I'm saying, okay, it was not thoughtful of me that I forgot. So what happens? Somewhere there is a note that, okay, I must make a mental note. This birthday is on such and such a day. Next time I probably will not forget it, that way. Or let me make a note in my diary so that next time I check the diary in the beginning of the month, kiska birthday kab hai, right? That way. So this is just an example which I've given. You write what is happening for you.
yeah. I'm trying to understand how to put it in my in self evaluation.
So Chaitanya, what we can do is we can connect separately, and I can then
Okay.
go through it with for you. Yeah.
Okay.
So let us move now. The next part is a sitting meditation. It's 23 minutes meditation dealing with difficult emotions. I've already sent the audio on the group. So right now it's 12:16 on my this thing. So I would like you all to be back by 12:45. Okay. So if we regroup by 12:45, I've got something important to complete before we close at 1. Okay. So again, now let me start. Okay. So you can use the stop technique. There are two techniques. One is a stop, another is a rain. Both are similar. Stop technique is, the acronym is stop. So S, can you all hear me? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So stop technique is take stop and take stock of your thoughts, feelings, and body sensations. Okay. Don't take it down, it's there in your notes. Acknowledge and register your experience even if it is uncomfortable. Okay. Painful feelings might be there. Physical discomfort, pain may be there. So take stock of that. Become aware of what I am thinking and feeling. Then take a breath. T is for take a breath. So direct your awareness now to your breathing. Use your breath as an anchor and come to the present moment, awareness and stillness. Right? O is for open and observe. Now, once you have taken a deep breath, you have maybe spent few minutes in breathing, 5 minutes or so. Open and observe, expanding awareness outward. So now look at outwards. Look outwards to beyond what is the breathing. Okay, to your body sensation, what is happening in your body, your posture, your facial expression, and after that, what is happening around you. So that is looking deeply at the situation, contemplating with deeper awareness. Okay, so what is happening around you. So also contemplating with more empathy of what is happening. And P stands for proceed and new possibilities. So you continue without any expectations. You keep sensing of how the things are. And instead of reacting, you respond naturally to the situation. So by now you have taken stock of what is happening around you, within you. And then you look at the new possibilities. Okay, what can I do to deal with this situation?
Man, what is P for? I just miss out.
Proceed, new possibilities.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just quickly share my own example of how I used stop now in my recent experience, in my recent accident when I fell down and broke my spine, fractured my vertebrae. So first thing that I started thinking immediately when I fell down was, I knew that it is a fracture. because the way I felt and the pain I was experiencing. The first thoughts that came to my mind, I only hope that I have not damaged my spinal cord. What if I have damaged my spinal cord? Because having worked in an orthopedic department, I know what it is to be a paraplegic. Okay, so that was my first thought. I was very frightened. I went through a lot of anxiety. But then, since I could, was helped to, when I was helped to get up and I could walk a bit, I knew that it may not be so bad. I immediately, when I spoke to the doctor, he also said that don't worry, if you can walk, then you can go to the bathroom, but otherwise, just be completely on bed. Okay. So all the thoughts were going on in my head about how I fell down, how careless I was with the soap, and that I fell down, and that I wish I had not been so careless. So these were the thoughts. I was aware of these thoughts. And finally, when I realized that the fracture is confirmed by the X-ray, and I was told that, uh, that by the doctor that 10 weeks, it will take 10 weeks or even more, and you have to be on bed rest. So it kind of was a little more difficult, okay, 10 weeks in bed. What will happen? Who will do all the things that I'm supposed to do? Okay. But then gradually, as I decided, let me breathe, let me calm myself down. I started to take stock of what is happening around me. I started to pay attention to what the doctor was telling me, because I was advised to wear a belt, a brace. I'm wearing the brace even now, but I'm wearing it inside so you can't see it. It's a shoulder and back brace to keep your back in position without too much of shifting around, so that without bending, doesn't allow you to bend, so that the part is immobilized and it can heal. So it was very uncomfortable to start with, and I kept asking the doctor, can I wear another belt which is just for the back and not the shoulder thing? And he said, yeah, you do what you want, then you come back to me for surgery. And that really, made me even more cautious. And I said, nay, I have to accept now that this is the situation and I have to cooperate. And I started doing more and more of the breathing. It was difficult. Body scan too was completely out because I just could not concentrate. Every time I was only thinking of, my pain, my mind was going to the pain. And it was a very difficult situation. But then finally, when I said, okay, now what is the use of my mindfulness if I don't use it now? So I then started thinking of what are the things that I need to now consider, and how do I proceed from here? And so I started, chalking out my day. Okay, I will do my breathing, I will do relaxation as much as possible, because the more you contract your body, the more the pain. And within 10 days, the doctor stopped the pain medication and he said, no, now no more medication. You just have to. So I started just using some application. And also, I was not allowed to sit up for too long. Maximum, he said, half an hour at a time, but that also wearing the brace. And since the brace was a little uncomfortable, I kept feeling, I wish I didn't have to wear the brace. But then I also knew that that's the only way I could stand up and walk or move around. But slowly, as I started recovering, and then, initially this whole thing of lying down. What do I do lying down? I mean, I'm a hyperactive person. So what do I do lying down? And then I realized, okay, I can watch YouTube. I can read. I also started doing my crochet lying down, which I'd never done before. It was not so easy. I used to have pain here, but I could do it. So yeah, I slowly looked at what are the possibilities, I could even clean vegetables lying down. I could help my sister. My sister had come to help me out. She was there for 2 weeks. So I even did that, cleaning vegetables because, okay, I mean, it was a little difficult to think that, now I am not able to do anything. But by doing these small things, I could, my time was, passing. And of course, I've recovered to a great extent. It's almost 5 months since my accident, but I can say that I have recovered only 95%. I still have that 5% more to go. And yeah, it's a big learning experience for me. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much within my relationships and what other things that really disturb me, what are the things that I need to accept about myself. So this is how stop has helped me. Okay, so I will go to the next one, that is the rain. Rain is also very similar to stop. R stands for recognize what's going on with your thoughts, feelings, and behavior. A is to allow the experience to just be there as it is, without trying to fix or avoid anything. Allowing creates a pause that makes it possible to deepen the attention. Okay, as I said, contemplate. So you give more attention to what is happening, and it gives you a deeper understanding of the situation. Investigate with interest and care, inquire into the felt sense in the body. What needs my attention? So, where are these thoughts and feelings coming from? So, for me, when I was investigating into where are these thoughts and feelings coming from, I was able to this thing to a thing where you cannot be sitting doing nothing, you cannot be lying down doing nothing. How can you do that? Okay, and then I told myself, if I don't do that, I will not get better, right? I have to do that. So within that, what is the best I can do? No? So I have to change my thinking. I can do it. I have to do it. So I can do it. And nurturing the self, so the self compassion. So that is also something which I did for myself. Uh, It's okay, Leonie. Now is the time for you to rest. I had a friend who told me, Leonie, better rest now because after this you're going to be very busy.
Yeah, the same thing happened in the virus attack also.
Yeah,
The nature made us to stop and see what is
exactly.
the good and the bad. अपने आप ही evaluate करो और रुको और सोचो
Also,
तुमने क्या
yeah.
खराब कर दिया है सारा. Same thing happened.
So with self-compassion, you take care of self. You take care of. You may, need reassurance. You may need to forgive yourself sometimes in such situations. So you may seek companionship. You need to love yourself. That is also very important at this time. So this is how you deal with the stressful situations. And of course, I mean, all of us are capable of solving our own problems. We don't need somebody outside to help us. We know what we need to do. Sometimes we may take support from people. But if we are mindful, when we pay attention, when you deepen our awareness, it makes a lot of difference. That's what I would like to say from experience. Okay, so these are the two important techniques. Both are the similar, very similar, just that the acronym is different, but you do the same thing. And the important thing is self-compassion, acceptance, kindness to self, and nurturing yourself. So now with that, we'll come to the almost the end of our session now. So important thing of taking care of yourself is just take down your notebooks and jot down, what are the things that nourish me and what increases my sense of actually being alive and present rather than merely existing. So you can write down whatever nourishes you. A beautiful sunrise in the morning, a cup of coffee, steaming hot cup of coffee, or something that maybe your pet coming and waking you up. Of the things that I do, what nourishes me, what increases my sense of actually being alive and present rather than merely existing. So the up activities, things that make me feel joyful, happy. Just quickly note it down. Just take 2 minutes. And then you note down what are the things that drain me, what decreases my sense of actually being alive and present, what makes me feel I'm merely existing, or so which are those activities? Accepting that there are some aspects of my life that I simply cannot change. Am I consciously choosing to increase the time and effort I give to the up activities and decrease the time and effort I give to down activities? So if there is some activity, like, we say that it's not that important, okay, so I can decrease the time there. Maybe somebody else can do it for me. So just this is also just awareness. Okay, this is important to take care of yourself. What am I? How am I taking care of myself?
मैम ये नोट्स में आएगा ना?
It's there in your notes.
नोट्स में आएगा, ठीक है?
Yes, it's there in your notes. But do it now, at least.
हाँ, वही मैं एक्चुअली नोट करने लग गई थी.
No, don't write. I told you, na, don't write what is it. Most, because 95% of what is in the slides is there in the notes. Maybe a few things here and there may not be there in the notes. But otherwise it's there, because what I do is I first make the notes and then based on that I make the slides. Okay, so we'll just move on quickly and finish, wind up in the next 5 minutes. So this is there again, don't try to take down, it's there in your notes. There are 50 ways to take a break, to take care of yourself. Read a book, go to a water body, or take a walk outside, eat a meal in silence, take a bike ride, go to the park, make some music, listen to some music, dance to the music, have a coffee break. So engage in small acts of kindness. So there are many things that you can do to take a break and, nurture yourself. Yeah?
Turn off all electronics best.
Yeah, probably. And all this, whatever activity you do, just remember to do it with mindfulness. Yeah. So now about the homework, you will do either the body scan, again alternatively body scan, sitting meditation or movement meditation. Again, one activity you will record. Then between 3-minute breathing and 5-minute breathing, you can alternate. And yeah, I think that's it. So just check your homework. Everything is there in that. I will send it to you all in the afternoon. It may be a little late today because I have another meeting at 3 o'clock. So, but it will come to you today itself. So if anybody has any questions, I'll take them up. Otherwise, we'll wind up. Anybody has questions?
No, not really.
Excuse me, actually I have question, but
yes,
since time is over already.
Doesn't matter. You can still ask me.
Actually, I'm doubting about this self acceptance, no? Because one thing you were talking about the depression and anxiety, no? Because nowadays, if you notice, no, if you see the news, this so many people are commit suicide, no? So what is the effect of that? Why? Because they cannot be aware of themselves, or what is really happening then? Because some of them, they may go for counseling, but their attitude or the way they deal with life is totally changed, and then they become silent, I think. Because I have seen one of my friends is very I think he's very good and very active, no? What kind of person? Very, but suddenly he's when he go for counseling also, he become
अरे बाप रे, देखना
mentally
कौन है?
unstable, mentally unstable actually. So it's very. But my question is,
So
how
you
can?
can refer your friend for counseling. That is very important. Normally, people who take take the course to suicide are people who may be in a depression. They may be mentally ill.
क्या हो गया बेटा?
Or Naina, can you please mute yourself? So they may be mentally ill, they may be in a depression, or they may have some other kind of anxiety issues. And they have come to a stage where they feel very helpless about their situation. They are not able to deal with what is happening in their lives, and they may not have the support around them. And sometimes even if they have a family who can be supportive, they are scared to tell the family what is happening and things like that. And so it is very important, if you know somebody who is going through such a situation, to refer the person for counseling and see that he goes regularly for counseling. Family also should be involved in that. That can help. Yeah. So anxiety and depression are things which affect everybody, but with different degrees. Each of us, we have our coping mechanisms which help us. We have a defense mechanisms, we have our coping mechanisms, and they help us to tide over difficult situations. But for some people, it may not be there, and they need help. They are the people who need help. Sometimes even even all of us who have, may go through a period of where one feels that everything is useless. Let me just give up. Let me just give up. But not necessary. It's important to find a reason to live. So, if your friend needs counseling and he's going for counseling, fine. If he needs counseling also and is not able to find a counselor, we can find a counselor in that area and refer him. Yeah.
Ma'am, thank you so much. But I just want to clarify, because sometimes I'm not saying that counseling is not good. Some of my friends also, they are going for counseling. If there is any difficult, very hard to find. But one thing I have doubt is why the person is become different. No, means he's not alive anymore. He's still, even he goes for counseling, but the way he behave is sometimes they going for this prescription of medicine. No? But the life is really become different. No? You really, when you see, really feel pity. So even you asking to go for counseling also, we don't know what is really, it will change automatically, or
No,
that
it
is the
doesn't.
one thing.
Nothing changes automatically. You need to take efforts, and person can be helped by a counselor. In fact, even mindfulness can help, as I said, for depression.
Yeah, right.
And in fact, it is found that people can reduce their medication because they have started being mindful, doing mindful meditation. So it can definitely help. Even mindfulness can help this person. And sometimes if that may not work, he needs to see a psychiatrist. He maybe need to be put on medication sometimes if the depression is something which is very serious and life threatening. He's thinking of suicide. So you need, what you can do is, if you need help for your friend or you need more enlightenment in this thing, connect with me separately. Okay. So
Sure.
yeah, because in fact, today is my meeting of Snehangan, which is a initiative which we have started, me along with a few friends, and we are into suicide prevention. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So if anybody has any questions, we'll take it, or I will close the meeting now.
I just want to ask one thing. You were telling while you were discussing that regarding this disturbed sleep. So if someone has got a disturbed sleep, what will be the remedy?
See, disturbed sleep can, again, as I said, it is because of repetitive thinking. You're disturbed about something and you keep on thinking about that. Also, I mentioned earlier that there is a high levels of cortisol. The cortisol is
Yes.
there in your body to help you deal with that situation. So that is a mainly cause of disturbed sleeping. There could be other reasons also, physical reasons. So it depends. You have to first find out what is it that's causing the disturbed sleep, and then accordingly that needs to be addressed. Who's that? Chaitali speaking? Are you speaking from another thing?
Yeah, my laptop is not working. I'm not able to
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I don't know. So I
Okay.
am using other
So
device.
yeah, so this I mean, just doing mindful meditation is helping people to deal with disturbed sleep. See, sometimes people, because of health reasons like diabetics, they get up in the night many times to go to the washroom, because of they need to urinate more often, and that can be a cause of disturbed sleep. So there could be many reasons for disturbed sleep, not necessarily only mindful repetitive thing.
Okay. Actually, this I'm talking about the person is very much stressed.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Mindfulness can help.
Okay.
Yeah, mindfulness can help. Okay, so shall we close the meeting now? Today's? Yeah. So please do your homework. Next Sunday is the last session. It will be on relationships and some more. We'll talk more about gratitude and listening and other communication and mindfulness. And
Okay.
so next Sunday will be the last session. Please do the homework. Please record. Okay. Ciao. Bye.
इसके